By the end of this video, you'll know exactly how much debt the average American carries at your age, and whether you're ahead, behind, or in more danger than you think. And the last number we look at? It's the one nobody's talking about. The most indebted generation in America isn't who you think, and it might be the most important warning in personal finance right now. So grab a seat and let's get into it. First, let's acknowledge something. If you've ever opened a credit card statement and felt your stomach drop, you're not broken and you're not alone. U.S. household debt just crossed $18 trillion. The average American carries $104,215 in total debt. That sounds enormous, but here's what almost nobody tells you. The amount matters less than what kind of debt it is, and when in your life it hits you. So let's go through it by age. If you're in Gen Z, roughly 18 to 25, your average total debt sits between $16,000 and $29,000. Mostly student loans, averaging around $20,000 for borrowers who have them, plus a few thousand in credit card balances. On paper, it looks manageable, and compared to what's coming, it is. But Gen Z has the highest credit card delinquency rate of any age group right now, higher than older Americans who've historically been the biggest risk. Why? Credit card companies aggressively marketed to 18 to 24-year-olds on social media, and Gen Z's average credit card balance grew 22% in a single year. Financial educator Berna Anat put it plainly. Nobody sits you down at 22 and explains compound interest on a credit card. By the time you understand it, you're already 30 and already in it. Now here's where it gets interesting. Millennials, 26 to 41, carry an average of $125,000 to $135,000 in total debt. That jump is mostly mortgage. Among millennial homeowners, the average mortgage balance tops $250,000. And they're still dragging roughly $38,000 in student loans on top of that. But here's the twist. Only 43% of millennials own a home, lower than any previous generation at the same age. The ones who do own carry enormous balances. The ones who don't, like Maria, a 34-year-old teacher in Denver, are stuck in a different kind of trap. Maria waited, saved, did everything right. By the time she was ready to buy, the house she'd been eyeing jumped from $380,000 to $510,000. And mortgage rates climbed from 3.8% to 7.5%. She's still renting at $2,100 a month, watching her savings erode while building zero equity. Her student loan payments restarted in October 2023 after the pandemic pause ended. Her words, "I did everything right. I saved, I waited, and the rules just changed on me." That's not a personal failure. That's a structural condition. Millions of millennials are living it. But that's not even the heaviest number in this breakdown. Baby boomers, 58 to 76, carry $94,000 to $100,000 in average total debt, and 41% of homeowners 65 and older still have a mortgage. They're making those payments on Social Security income that averages $1,907 a month. Meanwhile, 55% of boomers have less than $100,000 saved for retirement. The image of the debt-free retirement? For a huge chunk of working-class boomers, it's a myth. If you're finding this helpful, hit subscribe. I drop videos like this every week. And stay with me, because the number I'm about to share is the one most people never see coming. Okay, remember how I said the most indebted generation isn't who you think? Here it is. Gen X, born between 1965 and 1980, now 42 to 57, carries an average of $157,000 to $168,000 in total debt, more than any other generation. Not millennials, Gen X. Their credit card balances alone average $9,000 to $9,600, the highest of any age group. Many took on Parent Plus loans to send their kids to college, averaging $37,000 on top of their own debt. They hit their working years across 3 recessions: the early 1990s downturn, the dot-com crash in 2001, and the 2008 financial crisis. That last one wiped out home equity they'd spent years building. They had to start over in their 40s. Here's the number that should stop you cold. The average Gen X retirement savings balance is $150,000. At a standard 4% withdrawal rate, that's $6,000 a year. Add Social Security, the math still doesn't work. Not with $160,000 in debt still on the books. A 2024 AARP report found that Gen X has the lowest retirement confidence of any generation. Lower than millennials, lower than Gen Z. They're carrying the most debt at the worst possible time to carry it, with the least room to recover. Financial researchers literally call them the forgotten generation, sandwiched between the cultural dominance of boomers and millennials, quietly facing the sharpest financial cliff of anyone alive right now. That one insight reframes every debt number in this video. It's not about the size of the balance, it's about when it hits you and what you have left to absorb it. So here's the practical frame to carry with you. Mortgage debt at under 5% is a fundamentally different animal than the same dollar amount on a credit card at 21% APR. Someone carrying the average credit card balance of $6,500 at today's rates, making only minimum payments, takes 17 years to pay it off and hands over $8,000 in interest, more than the original balance. Gone. And if you're in your 50s when that clock runs out, you've just lost a decade of retirement runway. The composition of your debt is the real story, not the headline number. Here's the one genuinely hopeful fact in all of this. In 2020, Americans paid down $150 billion in credit card debt in a matter of months. It can move fast in the right direction. The arc of debt does bend toward resolution. The silent generation, 77 and older, averages just $38,000 to $41,000. It does get paid down. Life does move through it. But only if you understand the terrain you're actually standing on. So there you go, where the average American stands at every age, the credit card trap hiding inside the numbers, and the quiet Gen X crisis almost nobody is talking about. If this gave you a clearer picture of where you stand, share it with someone who needs to hear it, and subscribe so you don't miss the next one. Next week, we're breaking down exactly how to attack high-interest debt, starting with the method that saves the most money, even if it feels wrong at first.